Today we will solve O-Level Physics 5054 Paper 1 Variant 1 October November 17 and questions from 1 to 20. Okay, it is O-Level Physics 5054 Paper 1 Variant 1 October November 17. Question 1. Which list contains only scalar quantities? Option A. Acceleration, displacement, velocity. In option A, all the three physical quantities are vector quantities. Option B, distance, force, speed. In option B, distance and speed are scalar and force is a vector quantity. Option C, force, length, time. In option C, force is a vector, length and time are scalar physical quantities. Option D, length, mass, speed. Yes, it is the correct option. Here all the three physical quantities, length, mass and speed are scalar quantities. So option D is the correct one. Question number 2. A manufacturer measured the three dimensions of a wooden floor tile using three different instruments. The approximate dimension of the tile are shown. Here we have a tile, length is given 0.4 meter, width is given 0.08 meter and thickness is given 0.005 meter. Okay, here which instrument are used to measure accurately each of these dimensions? Here we have to find out three different instruments to measure the length, thickness and width of the tile. Length is given 0.4 meter, so the best instrument to calculate the length will be a meter rule. Now meter rule is given in the option A and option B, so our possible options are A and B. Now to calculate the width of the tile, the better option is a vernier caliper. So we have to use vernier caliper to calculate width of the tile. Now to calculate the width, vernier caliper or calipers are given in the option A. Now to calculate the thickness, we will use a micrometer because micrometer is the most precise instrument to measure a length of 0.005 meters. So option A is the correct one. To calculate the length, we have to use meter rule. To calculate the thickness, we have to use micrometer. To calculate the width, we have to use caliper. So our correct option is option A. Question number 3. The speed time graph represents a short journey. Here we have plotted a graph in between time and speed. So this gradient will be for acceleration. Okay, which distance time graph represents the same journey? Here we have four graphs that are plotted in between time and distance and it is asked which one is the correct one. Okay, here it is shown that with the passage of time, speed is increasing uniformly. When the speed is increasing uniformly, it means distance is increasing gradually. So we have to check in which option it is shown. It is shown in the option A that with the passage of time, distance is increasing gradually. So option A is the correct one. In option B, it is shown that the distance is gradually decreasing. In option C, distance is constant. In option D, it is shown that there is no distance with the passage of time. There is no increase in distance. Distance is zero. So our correct option is option A, where it is shown that with the increase in uniform speed, the distance will be gradually increased. Question number 4. An object travels for 20 seconds for a constant speed of 10 meters per second. For the next 10 seconds, it accelerates and uniformly to 20 meters per second. Okay, here we have an object, it is moving. First for the 20 seconds, its speed is 10 meter per second. Then for the last 10 seconds, its speed is 20 meters per second. Okay, what is asked here? What is the total distance traveled by the object in 30 seconds? In this 30-second time interval, what is the distance covered? We have to find out. Here we have plotted a graph in between time and speed. So the distance covered will be area under the curve. Area under the curve means the area that is under this line will be the distance covered by the object. Now here we are looking that this is a shape of a rectangle and it is a shape of a triangle. First we have calculated the area of this triangle, then we have calculated the area of this rectangle, then by adding these two area we will get the total area, and that total area will be equal to distance covered by the object. Now here this is a right angle triangle. For right angle triangle, to calculate the area we have a formula half base into height. Now here base is equal to 10. Here from 10 to 30 the distance is 10. Here height is from 10 to 20. So height will be also 10. And by solving this one we will get the area of this triangle 50 meters. Now area of this rectangle, to calculate area of the rectangle we have a formula length into breadth. Now length is given 30 and breadth is 10. So we have to multiply this 30 by 10 and we will get 300. Now by adding these two we will get the answer 350 meters. And the area under the curve represent the distance covered. So we can say distance covered is 350 meters and it is given in the option B. So option B is the correct one. Question number 5. A skydiver falls at terminal velocity. He then opens his parachute. Which row gives the direction of the resultant force on the skydiver and the direction of the acceleration of the skydiver immediately after the parachute opens? Okay, here it is given the skydiver falls at a terminal velocity, then he opens the parachute. When he opens the parachute for a small time interval, it will move upward. It means there is a resultant force in the upward direction and there is an acceleration in the upward direction. Why he will move in the upward direction? Because of the frictional force of the air. So it is given in the option D. So option D is the correct one. Resultant force will be in the upward direction and acceleration will be in the upward direction. Question number 6. The diagram shows two objects on a beam balance. Here we have two objects on a beam balance. The beam balance is in equilibrium. Which quantities may be different? Option A, the masses of two objects. No, masses will always remain same. It cannot be different. Option B, the moment about the pivot of the two objects. No. Why? Because here it is given the beam balance is in equilibrium. When the balance is in equilibrium, the clockwise moment will be equal to anti-clockwise moment. So moment of these two objects will be same. It will not be different. So option B is also not possible. Option C, the volumes of two objects. Yes, it is the possibility that both the objects have different volumes. So option C is the correct one. Okay, also we will read the option D, the weight of two objects. Weights of two objects, no, it will also be same because the masses are same and weight is given m into g. So whatever be the acceleration due to gravity on this object will also be same on the other object. So g will also remain same. So weight of these two objects will be equal. It will not differ. So option B is the correct one. The volume of these two objects may differ, may be different. Question number 7. A metal wire is suspended from a support and loads of different masses are attached to the lower end. The table shows how the extension of the wire depends on the mass of the load. Okay, here we have a table and we are looking with the increase in mass, there is an extension. Between which values of mass does the limit of proportionality lie? Okay, first we read our options. Option A 0 to 2 kg, option B 4 to 6 kg, option C 6 to 8 kg, option D 8 to 10 kg. Okay, what is meant by limit of proportionality? Here we are looking with the increase in mass, there is an extension in the wire and up to this point the extension in the wire is constant. It is increasing in the fixed ratio. After that we are looking that the extension in the wire is increasing rapidly. So the last point up to which we are looking, the extension is constant, is called limit of proportionality, and it lies in between 6 and 8 kg. So our option C is the correct one, 6 kg and 8 kg. Okay, also we will check this one. It is related to Hooke's law. In Hooke's law, we have studied that with the increase in load, extension will be increased in a constant ratio, in a constant proportion. So we can say load and extension are directly proportional to each other. Up to which point? Up to the point X. After the point X, we are looking, with the increase in load, there is a rapid increase in the extension. So this point, the last point up to which this gradient is straight line, is called limit of proportionality. So same thing is here. The last point up to which extension is constant is called limit of proportionality, and it is in between 6 kg and 8 kg masses. So option C is the correct one because the same thing is given in the option C. Question number 8. The diagram shows a mercury manometer connected to a gas container. The density of the mercury is 14,000 kg per meter cube. The gravitational field strength G is 10 Newton per kg. What is the pressure difference between gas in the container and the atmosphere? To calculate the pressure, we have a formula P is equal to rho GH, where rho is for density, G is for gravitational field strength, and this H is the difference in the height of mercury column. Okay, here density is given 14,000 kilogram per meter cube. This G is given 10 Newton per kg. This H height, what is the difference in the mercury column? Here this length is given 0.6. This length is given 0.2. So our difference is 0.4 meter. So we have to multiply this one by 0.4, and by solving this one we will get the answer 56000 Pascal. And 56000 Pascal is given in the option C. So option C is the correct one. Question number 9. An astronaut on the moon drops a toolbox of mass 3 kg. It falls from rest and its kinetic energy as it hits the surface is 0.96 joule. At which speed does the toolbox hit the surface of the moon? Kinetic energy is given as half mv square. Now here kinetic energy is 0.96, half mass is given 3 kg. So velocity will be equal to 0.8 meters per second. And 0.80 meter per second is given in the option D. So option D is the correct one. Question number 10. A car travels a distance of 200 meters in 20 seconds. The engine of the car provides a driving force of 1000 Newton. What is the power output of the engine? Okay, power is given as a product of force and velocity. Now here force is given 1000 Newton. It is 1000 Newton. Velocity. What is the velocity? Here distance given 200 meter in time 20 seconds. Velocity is equal to distance over time. So we can say velocity will be equal to 200 over 20 seconds. Now by solving this one, we will get the answer 10,000 watts, and it is given in the option D. So option D is the correct one. Question number 11. A gas is heated in a closed container at constant volume. What happens to the molecules of the gas? Option A, they collide with the walls with less force. When it is heated, the average kinetic energy of the molecule will be increased and they will collide more rapidly. They will collide with more force. So option A is not possible. Option B, they expand. Molecules do not expand. So option B is also not possible. Option C, they move faster. Yes, it is the correct one. With the increase in heat energy, the molecule will move faster because their velocity will be increased. So option C is the correct one. Okay, option D. In option D, it is given they move further apart. No, they cannot move further apart because it is given the constant volume. The volume is fixed, volume is constant, so they cannot move further apart. So only possible option is option C. They move faster. So it is the correct one. Question number 12. Scientists believe that some lakes are shrinking because of evaporation. What increases the rate of evaporation? Option A, a decrease in the surface area. No. With the decrease in surface area, evaporation decreases. Option B, a fall in water temperature. No. With the decrease in temperature, evaporation will also be decreased. Option C, an increase in the depth of the lake. It is irrelevant. There is no relation with the evaporation. Option D, wind blowing across the surface. Yes, it is the correct one. When wind is blowing across the surface, it will take the molecules with it and evaporation will be increased. So option D is the correct one. Question number 13. Solid wax is melted in a boiling tube and then allowed to cool. The graph shows the cooling curve. Here we have some wax in a molten form. Okay, what is asked here? What is happening between the point X and Y? What is happening between this point X and Y? First we read our options. Option A, a liquid is at its boiling point. Option B, the liquid is turning to solid. Option C, the solid has reached room temperature. Option D, the solid is turning to liquid. Okay, here we have wax in molten form. When we decrease the temperature, it will be cooled down, and at a certain temperature, this wax will start to convert into a solid form. And this point is represented by alphabet X. From X to Y, this liquid wax is converting into a solid state. When it will be converted completely into solid form at point Y, then its temperature will again start decreasing. So in between X and Y, this molten wax is solidifying. So option B is the correct one. The liquid is turning to solid. During the solidification process, the temperature will remain constant. There will be no change in the temperature. So correct option is option B. Question number 14. During boiling and during melting, a substance either takes in energy or gives out energy. Which row gives the energy transfer corresponding to the change of state? Okay, here we have two columns. In first column, it is given during boiling, and in the second column, during melting. Okay, when we boil any substance or when we melt any substance, it will absorb the heat. It will take in the energy, and it is given in the option D that during boiling takes in energy, during melting takes in energy. So option D is the correct one. Question number 15. The temperature of 50 gram mass of metal is raised by 40 degrees centigrade. The specific heat capacity of the metal is 0.40 joule per gram degree centigrade. How much thermal energy is supplied? Okay, we have studied a formula in the topic of temperature, that Q is equal to mc delta theta, where Q is the amount of heat, m is mass, C is specific heat, and delta theta is change in temperature. Now here we have to find out the thermal energy supplied, means we have to find out the value of Q. So Q will be equal to m is given 50 gram, C is specific heat, it is given 0.40, delta theta change in temperature is given 40 degrees centigrade. Now by solving this one, we will get the answer 800 joules, and 800 joules is given in the option D. So option D is the correct one. Question number 16. In which substance is the conduction of thermal energy mainly due to the movement of electrons? Option A, air. Option B, ice. Option C, iron. Option D, water. Okay, conduction is a heat transfer method in solids. So option A and option D are not possible. Now we have to check only option B and option C. Now one thing more given, mainly due to the movement of electrons. We know in metals there are free electrons, and these free electrons will also help in the transfer of heat energy, in the transfer of thermal energy. Now here in the option B it is non-metal, option C iron is a metal. So our best option is option C, iron is the correct option, because iron has free electrons, and here it is given energy is transferred mainly due to the movement of electrons. In ice there is no free electron, so here it cannot be transferred because of the movement of electrons. So option C is the correct one. In option C, it is metal. In metal, we have free electron, and these free electron will help in the transfer of thermal energy. So option C is the correct one. Question number 17. Four similar metal plates are the same distance from the heater that emits infrared radiation. The plates are painted dull black, dull white, shiny white. Which plate absorbs the most radiation and which plate reflects the most radiation? Okay, we have studied in the topic of radiation that dull black is the best absorber of heat and shiny white is least absorber of heat. So shiny white will reflect the most and dull black will absorb the most. And it is given in the option B that dull black absorbs the most radiation and shiny white reflects the most radiation. So option B is the correct one. Question number 18. A wave is traveling in water in a glass-sided tank. The diagram shows the side view of the wave at one instant. What is the amplitude and the wavelength of the wave? Okay, amplitude is defined as the distance from mean position to peak position, and this distance is given 4 cm, so our amplitude will be 4 cm. What is wavelength? Wavelength is the distance in between two crests or in between two trough or one complete crest and one complete trough. Now here it is given for one complete trough the distance is 5 centimeter. So same distance will be for the crest. Total distance will be equal to 10 centimeter. So wavelength will be equal to 10 centimeter and amplitude is 4 centimeter. And it is given in the option B that amplitude is 4 centimeter, wavelength is 10 centimeter. So our option B is the correct one. Question number 19. An earthquake wave travels through the solid surface of the earth from east to west. The solid surface vibrates in a north-south direction. Here it is the direction of the propagation of the wave from east to west, and earth is vibrating in a direction of north and south. It is direction of the vibration of the earth's surface. How can the earthquake wave be described? Option A electromagnetic, option B longitudinal, option C sound, option D transverse wave. Okay, here we have observed that the propagation of the wave and vibration of the surface are at right angle. Both are making an angle of 90 degree and such waves are called transverse wave. If the angle in between them is 0 degree, then it is called longitudinal wave. So here these waves are the transverse wave and it is given in the option D. So option D is the correct one. Question number 20. A solid plastic cylinder is immersed in a liquid of refractive index 1.4. Light traveling in the plastic cylinder strikes the inside surface at an angle of incidence of 70 degree. The light undergoes total internal reflection. What are the values of the critical angle in the plastic and the refractive index of the plastic? Okay, here we are looking at this angle, total internal reflection occur. Now what is critical angle? Critical angle is the angle of incidence where the refracted ray moves in parallel with the surface. Means the angle of refraction with the normal will be equal to 90 degree. Now if we increase the angle of incidence from critical angle, then total internal reflection occur. It means the angle given here 70 degree is more than critical angle. So critical angle will be less than this 70 degree. Now what about the refractive index? Total internal reflection occur when light enters from a denser medium to a rarer medium, or we can say from a more dense to the less dense medium. Now here this medium is less dense and here refractive index is given 1.4. So refractive index of this plastic should be more than 1.4. So we can say refractive index of this plastic cylinder will be more than 1.4. Now we will check our option. It is given in the option C that the critical angle in plastic is less than 70 degree. So it is correct. refractive index of plastic is greater than 1.4, it is also correct. So option C is the correct one. Okay, today we have completed up to question number 20. From 21 to 40, we will do in the next session. Thank you very much.